This solar eclipse in Libra is definitely the highlight of October 2024, the highlight of Libra season, and it's going to kick off a lot of new beginnings, new chapters happening in the area that is related in the sign of Libra. And there's going to be a lot of endings or chapters that we need to close for us to be able to fully identify this new beginning. So let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. If you're new here, I'm Harley. I'm a Filipina tarot reader and astrologer. And in this channel, we talk about everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if that's something that you're interested in, or that's something that you want to be updated about, maybe you can consider subscribing in my channel and also click the like button if you're interested in knowing about this upcoming solar eclipse in Libra as well. But anyway, enough about that. And let's talk about the highlight of October 2024, the upcoming solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So this solar eclipse is going to happen, the peak of it, kumbaga, will be on October 3 at 2:49 a.m. Philippine time. However, what's a bummer about this is actually hindi siya makikita dito sa Pilipinas. It will be seen on the other side of the world as far as I know. But we are still definitely affected by this. If you're not familiar with eclipses, they technically happen actually every year. Wala namang bago dyan. And as a matter of fact, for 2024, this is already our second round of eclipses because last March and April, we already had a Libra and also Aries lunar and solar eclipses. Meanwhile, last September 18, we had a lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then now, closing this year's round of eclipses, we have on October 3, a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So as I mentioned, yung peak niya mangyayari at 2:49 a.m. Philippine time. However, mararamdaman na natin to actually even on October 2, particularly in the evening of October 2. Especially if you have your sun or also your moon in the sign of Libra, you may feel like you may have a migraine actually, or you may feel like really lethargic as well, or parang wala kang energy or too much energy. So even in the night of October 2 and then October 3, those are the feelings that you may have if you have important Libra placement. So that's sun, moon, or maybe even your rising sign. But yeah, this is actually not the first time that there's going to be an eclipse in the sign of Libra. So actually last March 24, 25 Philippine time, kasi madaling araw din siya nangyari, like right now, we had a lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So lunar eclipses are massive endings. Meanwhile, this October 3, October 2, we're gonna have a solar eclipse naman. So this is going to be a massive new beginning instead of like the ending that we experienced on the first half of the year. But at the same time, this is also not the first time that we have a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, because actually last year around October 14 to October 15 Philippine time as well, we had a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra already. Pero syempre, hindi to duplicate nung October 14-15 solar eclipse natin because the chances are different around that time. However, if you still remember what happened to you a month before October 14 to 15, 2023, or even like 6 months straight after that, there's a possibility na yun din yung ma-activate for you in this particular solar eclipse in Libra as well. So if meron na kayong idea, or if you can still recall like what happened to you on that day or like 6 months right after that, maybe you will have an idea already on how this is going to unfold for you. Anyway, enough about the past eclipses, and let's talk about this October 2 and 3 solar eclipse in Libra. So this is happening in the 10th degree of the sign of Libra. So I'm gonna put the chart here for you guys to see the astrology of that day kasi yun yung pag-uusapan natin dito. So let's talk about first, and let's dissect first what solar eclipses are and then what Libra represents. So solar eclipses, it's technically a new moon. So meaning the sun and the moon are together in one sign. So October 3 or October 2 evening, the sun and the moon will be together in the sign of Libra. However, the difference of this on why it's an eclipse is because the south node and the north node are both in the eclipses of Aries and Libra. So right now, si south node nandun siya kay Libra. Kaya siya naging eclipse technically. Now, at the same time, solar eclipse, since it's a new moon, it represents a very massive new beginnings that there's a possibility na actually naramdaman nararamdaman nyo na yung new beginning na to a month before October 2 or 3, or in reality, it may actually happen to you or it will unfold 6 months right after pa nung particular date ng eclipse na to. Because the reality is it rarely happens on the same day. Even in mundane astrology, which is the astrology of like the whole world, let's just say, or like everyday events that happen to us, may possibility that it will happen or it will be triggered 2 weeks before or 2 weeks right after pa nga. So again, very rarely does it happen on the same day. But yeah, as mentioned, solar eclipses are massive new beginnings. Now, together with that, let's also talk about Libra. So Libra is our cardinal air sign. So cardinal signs, they technically start the seasons. And our cardinal signs is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Aries starts spring, Cancer starts summer season, and then Libra starts the fall season, and then Capricorn for winter season naman. That's why cardinal signs, technically, they are the innovators, they're the starters, kumbaga. So sila yung nagpo-push for people to start things or just really discover new things in some sense. Now, air signs naman, they're all about communication and mentality. All air signs, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, have different kinds of intelligences, and Libra's intelligence is on social knowledge. The reason why is because Libra is naturally ruled by Venus, the planet of love, aesthetic, values, and also harmony. The key word here is values and harmony. So since air sign siya, communication and then mentality plus harmony, it talks about other people. Libra actually represents partnerships, it represents collaborations, it represents our society in a sense. And at the same time, I also see Libra as like helping us or parang indicating to us our societal roles or ano ba talaga yung dapat nakatayuan natin in our society that we belong in. So again, the keyword for Libra most of the time is harmony, partnerships, collaborations, and then society or our personal role in the society. So technically, these are the themes that will be activated for the solar eclipse in Libra. So let's talk about like the details of the astrology. So again, I'm going to put our chart here. The first thing that you need to know is that this solar eclipse will be happening in the 10th degree of Libra. So this is what we call the second decan o yung start ng second decan ni Libra. If you guys are not familiar with decans, decans are technically the three halves of a certain sign if you're using whole sign houses, which I do. And the second decan, it's co-ruled by Saturn. So even though Libra is naturally ruled by Venus, the planet of love, harmony, and also values, there is some tint, all right, of Saturn in there. And Saturn is the planet of restrictions, barriers, discipline, maturity, and also delayed gratification. So this is the beauty of astrology. Actually, there are some things that are in the details that sort of adds this additional information or parang additional tint of what the event is going to be like or your personal placement can also be. So what does this mean? Like being in the second decan, technically it shows that yes, it's a solar eclipse, and this solar eclipse will really activate the themes of like partnerships, collaboration, and also like societal things. But also there's going to be an emphasis or an added layer related to restrictions, barriers, for example, discipline, delayed gratification, or even like Saturnian matters, which also talks about like large, long-lasting corporations, or let's even say very influential figures in our society, since again, Libra talks about society. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis on those people as well. Now, at the same time, this solar eclipse, we will have our south node in the sign of Libra. So I'm going to show it here. And south node and the north node are what we call energy points. So again, they show us where the eclipses are happening. So in Aries and Libra this year. But at the same time, they're also energy points because the north node represents where the energy is always increasing. So madame, we put focus on it. Meanwhile, the south node represents where the energy is always decreasing or we don't put a lot of effort into it in some sense. So this brand new beginning may come with like a resistance. I think that's the best word that we can have for this particular new beginning in the solar eclipse. Or to some, there will be like a force that will push you to let go of something, or there will be like an inner, resistance in a sense for you to begin something new. That's why the decan of Saturn will also play an important part here, because again, Saturn is discipline. So there's something that is about to begin, but to some people, it will have like this sort of resistance within them, or parang we're not really into it at first, but then we really need to do it. Now, at the same time, on this day, Mercury will be in the 11th degree of Libra. So it's going to be following the sun and also the moon. So this is what we call combust in astrology. Technically, what it means is that a planet will be following the beam of the sun. So para siyang nasisilaw in the sun in some sort of sense. So it's not that it's bad, but think of it as if the best way that I can describe it is if you're driving, tapos sa harap mo, on the other lane, there's this car wherein naka-high beam yung sasakyan niya. So sometimes you need to slow down or really be vigilant on what's in front of you. So that's how Mercury will be sort of navigating this energy in this particular day. Since Mercury is communication and mentality, there is this essence that it's not really gonna be that straightforward, or parang there is this blockage, let's just say, that will be put into it in some sense, because again, it's following the sun's beams, and there is a possibility that communication may be a little bit unclear. It's sort of like a Mercury retrograde feeling, but not necessarily related to delays, but more on like the clarity is not really popping off on this day. So for example, if there's something new that you need to do, or if there's like a letting go that is related to this something new that you need to do, there is like this very unclear communication or like unclear contracts that will come into it. That's why even by default, please do not like intentionally start something new on an eclipse, or like intentionally sign contracts, for example, because in this particular solar eclipse in Libra, there's like some complications or blockages that may be added into it, because again, Mercury is in the 11th degree, and then this eclipse is happening in the 10th degree of Libra. Now, on this day too, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, aesthetic, harmony, and values, which is also again the ruler of Libra, is in the sign of Scorpio. So Venus is in its fall in the sign of Scorpio kasi it is the natural ruler of its opposite sign, which is Taurus. So Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And that's why it's not really that comfortable in the sign of Scorpio. So think of it as if it's in a foreign land, and the resources of Venus is not necessarily amplified in that particular sign. So like this energy is, we find pleasure, we find love in most unexpected places, or we find pleasure in things that we don't normally find pleasure in. So again, this particular new beginning that will be catapulted in this eclipse in Libra is, it's a little bit of like a bittersweet moment. So partnerships that will be catapulted will be a little bit unclear because again of Mercury being combust in the sign of Libra. And then at the same time, Venus, the natural ruler of Libra, is also in its fall in Scorpio. So yes, there are brand new beginnings in partnerships and collaborations. However, hindi siya kaagad mapupull off, or it's not necessarily something that will come naturally or intuitively for some people. So there's a lot of adjustments that is needed to be done. At the same time, Mars is in its fall in the sign of Cancer in this particular day. So technically, energy nito is, Cancer is all about nurturing, nourishing people, and also taking care of people, maternal energies, for example. Meanwhile, Mars is the planet of aggression, action, and conflict. So there is like a difference in their temperament and attitude. So Mars in Cancer is a little bit passive aggressive, or you're not sure what type of actions or what kind of action you should put into this brand new beginning that is happening. So there are other loose aspects on this day, meaning they're not aspecting one another to the exact same degree or really close. However, they will be aspecting one another like on the same sign. So one of these aspects will be Mars in Cancer opposite Pluto in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So again, medyo magkalayo sila. I'm gonna show it here. But may possibility that we can still feel the effect of this opposition revolution. So Pluto is the planet of transformations, death, rebirth, renewal, and also power. And it's currently in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, which again represents like long-lasting companies in some sense. So in overall mundane astrology, which may be like the effect of this particular aspect instead for us, kumbaga personally, there may be some sort of manipulation or like exposés, let's just say, coming from people in power or maybe something hidden. Because again, Mars is action and aggression. And even though there is a need to put action into certain renewals or certain changes in our lives, Mars in Cancer is passive aggressive. So itong exposés na makikita natin on this particular date or 2 weeks before, 2 weeks right after in mundane astrology, we may not really like finish it off in that particular day and kailangan pa siyang tapusin for the following days in a sense. Now, another loose aspect will be Jupiter is going to trine the sun and the moon. So this is like a sun-based trine because Jupiter is currently in Gemini. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, abundance, and wisdom. So in a good side, there it shows that despite all the complication of these eclipses, Jupiter is there to assist us with its wisdom, kumbaga, and glory and optimism. However, Jupiter also expands or like give more power to the particular planet or placement that it touches. So it's really amplifying the energy of this eclipse further. Buti na lang it's not on the exact same degree and it's just a sign-based trine, because if it is, there's a lot more complication to that. With this particular trine, in a sense, the expansion may happen around the other issues that we will see in this particular date or that will be triggered by this particular eclipse. So expect that it's not going to be solved in one day. It's going to be solved in multiple weeks, multiple months to follow. So what are the possible mundane events that will happen around the world given this? Don't worry, we're going to talk about like how this is going to affect us based on our rising sign, but let's talk about the possible mundane events that will be triggered because of this solar eclipse in Libra. So remember that whatever it is that I'm going to say, it's not meant to scare you guys. Think of it that it's just a pattern that we saw already and it's just going to be repeating again. So use this as your guide on the possibilities of the events that may happen and what can you do about it. So first, on that particular date of the eclipse last year, as I mentioned, no, we already had a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra last year. We had a very strong earthquake that happened in Bohol, here in the Philippines and also in Cebu. I'm not saying that it may repeat or happen again. However, those are the transits kasi na nangyari last 2023. But in this particular area of our eclipse this year, may possibility na there's again another like natural calamity or disaster that we may experience that will be related to the transits that are also happening or like the aspects of the planets in this particular day. So first we have Mars in the sign of Cancer. Instead of an earthquake, may possibility that it may start first like in water formations. Tapos we may feel this calamity as well. Again, I'm not saying na mauulit siya in Bohol and Cebu again, but there's still that possibility of like being triggered in water, so in seas and oceans first, and then maybe transferred to land. So again, this is not meant to scare you. Earthquakes happen every day, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas, because we are in the ring of fire. It's just that we may particularly feel it particularly in this day or 2 weeks before and then 2 weeks right after. Now, at the same time, another possible event that we may expect is Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, and Venus is all about art, entertainment. So there's a possibility of like an expose of people that are working in the entertainment industry or like artistic industry that can be related to Scorpio matters, which are usually like sexual stuff. Censor ko na lang siya, alright? Or even related to like gender matters in a sense, which is interesting kasi if you're following American news, PDD was sort of exposed in the lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces last week. And that lunar eclipse naman is all about Neptunian matters, which sometimes can be related to overconsumption, ganyan, or even entertainment, the illusion of entertainment. Meanwhile, we're gonna have, as far as I believe, a trial for him on the particular week of the eclipse too, which is again related to entertainment or like artistic figures that we also have. So I do believe that there's going to be a lot more emphasis on that particular case. Now, eclipses are also very notorious on bringing down or bringing up certain figures or certain powerful and influential figures. So again, there's still a very active American politics drama right now. But at the same time, even here for us in the Philippines, there's also a lot of exposés that may happen around societal expectations. And we have already seen as well like these activations that are happening around like the Pogo exposés and also the hearings. So I do think there's going to be a lot more drama in the upcoming days that may be related to collaborations and partnerships of the people involved. So that's also something na pwede nating abangan. So this is another additional info for you guys. Please do not intentionally manifest or start something that's very important during eclipses. The reason why is because eclipses are very massive energies that we don't want to mess with. So it's better muna to let things happen at first and see where it's leading us instead of like really intentionally starting something new or manifesting something new. To give you guys an idea, way back in the past, eclipses represents downfalls of very important people. So you don't want to mess with that kind of energy. At the same time, please do not intentionally put out your crystals to charge them because you guys don't want to have this chaotic, very massive energies in your crystals tapos gagamitin nyo sila. Just don't do it. Maybe do it right after October 2 or the next new moon or full moon instead. Pero malaki na kayo, do whatever you want to do. Just for me personally, I don't want you guys messing with the eclipse energy. Now, enough about that. Let's talk about our rising signs. So if you guys didn't know yet, whenever we do predictive readings on astrology, what we look at is our rising sign because the rising sign is the starting point of our sign. It's what we call the helm of our chart. If you don't know your rising sign yet, go to astro.com or AstroSeek, whatever you prefer as like a free astrological website. Key in your birth details, which is your birth date, your birth city, if hindi city and municipality kung saan ka nanganak, just look at the closest city in that particular municipality, and then lastly, your birth time. Our birth time, most of the time, nandun naman yun sa birth certificate natin. If it's not in your birth certificate, maybe you can ask your parents, maybe familiar pa sila. But if not, unfortunately, you need the help of an astrologer to help you rectify your chart. But if you don't know your rising sign yet, this is how it looks like. So look for the sign AC or ASC, whatever it is that you use, and look for that particular sign. That's your rising sign. So again, let's talk about how this will be going to affect you based on your rising signs. Let's start with the main character of this eclipse, which will be Libra risings. So Libra risings, this is happening in your first house of yourself, your physicality, your personality, your attitude, everything about you. So yeah, you guys are the ones that are most affected by this eclipse, lalo na if you also have your sun and moon also in the sign of Libra. So there's going to be a massive new beginning that can potentially happen to you a month before October 2 or again, like 6 months right after pa siya mangyayari sa'yo. So in this particular new beginning, you may need to transform or you may sort of resist it at first, but you really need to do it again because of the south node there. At the same time, in this particular days or the following days of this eclipse, you may feel like really not the best communicator, kumbaga, and there's going to be a lot of people who may be misunderstanding you. However, what's beautiful about this is again, you may feel like there's a brand new beginning, a massive new beginning that may start for you personally. So to some, this can be a change in how you style yourself, how you present yourself to the world, or maybe some personal physical changes for you. So this can be, for example, changing your hair, going to the salon, or maybe to some like physical enhancements, kumbaga. However, not everyone will be doing that. To some, it will be changes in how you view life overall or like the overall trajectory of your plans in a sense. So just expect like massive new beginnings for you personally. Now for Scorpio risings, this is happening in your 12th house of your mental health, your spirituality, and also your relationship with religion and spirituality, and dealing with hardships and also isolation. So for you guys, Scorpio risings, there may be a brand new beginning related to how you take care of your mental health. So to some, this can be like a new medication that you need to apply to your mental health, or to some, this can be like a new hobby or a new stuff that you will be buying or trying for you guys to help on your mental health And at the same time, to some people, this can be a start of something new in your spiritual journey or how you see yourself in a spiritual light. So maybe you guys will be starting something related to yoga or like doing astrology or tarot or any spiritual stuff for you to really push yourself and also balance the things that are related to your spirituality and also your personal life. To my fellow Sagittarius risings, this is happening on our 11th house of our social circles, our acquaintances, our network, and also this is the house of our manifestations, your dreams, your prayers, your goals, whatever you call it, technically what you want in life. So to some, there can be like a brand new beginning that will be happening around your social life. If you have to let go like a certain affiliation or membership on the first half of the year, may possibility na meron kayong makikilalang bago in this particular solar eclipse, or maybe you will be learning or joining a new membership or affiliation or like responsibilities in that. There's also a possibility of you being put in a position or in an event wherein you really need to socialize more or really see the advantage of knowing more people instead of being isolated. To some naman, this can be like a brand new beginning in your manifestations or even your dreams, your goals. However, again, I'm just going to put it out there. Please do not manifest on this particular eclipse. Do not manifest intentionally during eclipse, period. Right? Because eclipses are very chaotic energies. For Capricorn risings naman, this is happening in your 10th house of your career and also your public image. To some, you guys, this can be a beginning, a brand new beginning or a massive beginning related to your career. So yeah, to some, this can be like a new career opportunity or like a new job offer. But to most of you guys, this can be a brand new beginning happening around your industry or your company or the people that you work for. So for example, there can be like a new manager, a new supervisor coming in, and that particular person may really affect your career trajectory, for example. Now, sa iba naman that are doing something publicly or like they're public figures, there can be a massive new beginning as well that may happen around that particular area that you do publicly. Just beware that may possibility lang you may feel restricted by this new beginning at first. However, it's really just supposed to happen. For Aquarius risings, this is happening in your 9th house of everything foreign. So foreign vacation, foreign traveling, working with foreign people, or maybe even immigration, and also your higher education, your higher wisdom, your higher knowledge. So to those who are dealing with like abroad stuff or immigration stuff, there may be like a brand new beginning related to that. So for you guys who are traveling, this can be like a new itinerary or a new idea or a new destination that's coming in. At first, you may feel restricted on doing it. However, it's still going to be happening. To some naman who work with foreign people, may possibility that there's a brand new beginning happening around that person that you work for and you're technically affected by it. To some who are still in college or master's or PhD, there can be like a brand new beginning happening around your education. So this can be like a start of a new project, or maybe you will have a new teacher, for example. Or to some, this can be like changing your courses or changing majors, technically starting a new chapter related to your studies. Now, followed by that, for Pisces risings naman, this is happening in your 8th house of your shared and also your complicated finances. So this can be investments, assets, utang, insurance, loans, or maybe even inheritance. For you guys, there can be like a start of something new related to those matters. Maybe you will be rethinking about investing on something, or like maybe you will be rethinking of getting a loan or like starting like a new loan or getting an insurance to some people, or maybe there will be some exposés happening related to your taxes or how you deal with your shared and complicated finances. So some naman, because the 8th house sometimes is related to occult studies or maybe even your relationship with death, there can be like a new beginning related to that. I'm not saying that someone's going to die, all right, but technically it shows that there's like an epiphany that's related to occult stuff or maybe related to how you view death overall. This is just a disclaimer that if you guys are dealing with like shared and complicated finances stuff, please do not, or just intentionally do not sign contracts or agreements on this particular date lang naman. So October 3, October 2, just don't. Because again, there may be some chaoticness that will happen around it. So if kaya ninyong i-delay, maybe delay it a day after or like a week after is probably even better. To Aries risings, this is happening in your 7th house of your personal and your committed relationships. So for you guys, this can be a massive new beginning or a brand new beginning related to your partnerships, to your marriage, or to your long-term relationships and to your best friends. So for you guys, this can be a new chapter happening around your marriage. So maybe a new project or like a new thing that you want to start together with your spouses. There's also a possibility that this is a new beginning also related to your long-term relationships. So to those who are not yet married but in long-term relationships. It can be like a new chapter or going deeper into the relationship. To some naman, there's a possibility, a very big possibility actually, na the brand new beginning may not happen for you, but it may happen around the people that you are in relationship with, or maybe even your best friend. So for example, maybe your best friend is getting married and you are affected by it, or maybe your best friend is going to start a new business and they would want you to be that partner in business. Now let's go for Taurus rising. So Taurus rising, this is happening in your sixth house of your physical health, your co-workers, your everyday service, and also your working environment. So there's a possibility of there's a brand new beginning related to your physical health matters. So to some, this can be like a brand new lifestyle or a brand new diet or fitness regimen that you may be starting, which at first, again, will be really hard for you, or you may feel like you don't have the right discipline or grit for you to start it. But again, it's eventually needed to be happening. And at the same time, this can also be like a start of a new medication to help you in your physical health. Please do not take this as a medical advice. It's just something that may potentially happen. To some naman, this can happen around your work environment. So maybe there's a new coworker that will come in that will affect your working environment. Or maybe there's a new project that you need to take on and you will be leading it. Or maybe there's a brand new beginning happening around your workplace overall and then affected ka. And then we have Gemini risings. For you guys, this will be happening in your fifth house of everything enjoyable, fun, pleasure. So this includes dating, romance, your hobbies, your creativity, and also your children. So you guys may be starting something new related to the things that you enjoy. So this can be a brand new hobby. And at first you may feel very restricted and lacking discipline about it, but then eventually it's going to happen. For some naman, this can be a brand new beginning related to your dating life or romantic life. So not gonna lie, to some, this can be like meeting someone new that you can potentially date. But at first, you may feel na you're restricted by this relationship, but then eventually it's going to happen. Or maybe it's if you guys are already dating someone, this can be like a brand new chapter on your romantic life that you guys may be starting together. Meanwhile, to some naman who are parents, this can be brand new beginnings happening around your kids and you're affected by it, or maybe like a new chapter related to parenthood. And then for Cancer risings naman, this is happening in your fourth house of your living situation, your home, and also your family. So to some, this can be a brand new beginning related to your home, your literal living situation. So maybe you guys will be signing a new lease, a new contract of a new home, or maybe for you guys, you will be buying new home or new lots that will take a long time or may feel restrictive at first. However, it still needs to happen at the end of the day. To some naman, the brand new beginnings may happening around your family and you are affected by it. So for example, new addition to the family, or may possibility pa nga that the brand new beginnings may happen around your family members tapos you are affected by it. So example, maybe your parents will be starting a business and they would want to tap you on beginning it, or maybe there's something new happening around your siblings and then you're affected by it. And then we have Leo risings. For you guys, this is happening in your third house of your communication, your mentality, your day-to-day life and productivity, and also to your siblings and your close community, which can be your neighborhood. So for you guys, if you work in like very communicative industry or like writing industry, so writers, storytellers, you guys may have a very massive project that will fall upon you, or maybe there's like a project that you need to lead. Some naman who don't have that, this can be a brand new beginning related to how you communicate or tell stories to people. So this can also be related to content or social media to some. And at the same time, there's also some people wherein the brand new beginning may happen around your siblings and then you are affected by it. So again, hindi siya mangyayari sa'yo directly. Maybe your siblings will be getting married and then you're affected by it, or they will be moving houses and then you're affected by it. Kasi to some, for you guys, this can be a change in your neighborhood. So maybe there is a massive new beginning that will start around your neighborhood and then you're affected by it. Or maybe you guys are looking for another neighborhood. May possibility na lumipat din kayo ng bahay. In everyday matters, this can also talk about new habits that you will be having or implementing in your life. Now, at first, you may feel restricted by it or you will lack discipline, but it's still gonna happen. Now, last but not the least, for Virgo risings, this is happening in your second house of your personal finances, your source of income, and also your spending. For you guys, there can be like a brand new beginning related to your source of income. So I'm not gonna lie, there can be some people who will start new businesses, new side hustles, or side jobs. And at first, you may feel like it's very slow moving, but you just need to catch your pace on it. And also to some naman, this can be like a brand new realization related to spending or your money matters or your relationship with money. So there's some sort of maturity maybe even that will happen around that. Or maybe you will be spending your money on something that at first will be really restrictive for you. So just be careful with money overall, like 2 weeks before and then 2 weeks after the eclipse, kasi may possibility that you will go all out. So just be careful. Anyway, that's it. If you guys have any questions related to the solar eclipse in the sign of Libra, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you guys have any idea how this is going to affect you, or maybe you're curious particularly on how this is going to affect you, you can message me in the comments below and I will try my best to answer your questions there. See you again next time. Bye!